Hi, I'm the Moonlit Page Turner. Grab your treat, grab your tea, let's talk books. For this month's read, we are traveling to Azerbaijan. We talked about Azerbaijan briefly in our Armenian video. They do share a border with Armenia as well as Russia, Turkey, Iran, and Georgia, and they are also next to the Caspian Sea. In 1991, Azerbaijan became an independent country and it has its sovereignty. It was briefly an independent country from 1918 to 1920 before the Soviet Union invaded again. And that is where our book takes place. Our book is Ali and Nino by Kurban Said. Before we talk about this month's read, let's talk about our treat. This is a Sheker Chorek. It is a treat from Azerbaijan, and it is a springtime treat. So they are these little bread. It's like a sweet bread. What it actually is like a sugar cookie. The first time that I made these, I didn't put enough flour in it, and they actually turned out to be sugar cookies. It does taste like a sugar cookie. Ali and Nino is supposed to be a love story, but I found it to be less of a love story between our two title characters and more of a love story between Ali and his country. The main theme in this book is East versus West. We see it towards the very beginning. Ali and Nino are pretty young. They are in like high school. Ali is just graduating, and Nino has the rest of the year to finish out her schooling. And it is brought to the attention of the students. Do they consider themselves to be from the East or from the West? In Azerbaijan at this time, there is kind of a Russian occupation. There's ties to Russia. And then when World War I breaks out and Tsar Nicholas II abdicates the throne, Azerbaijan tries to become its own independent nation. And they originally are fighting with the Turks, and then they want to side with the Turks. And so it is kind of complicated. It is supposed to be a love story though between Ali and Nino, and it's kind of advertised as a little bit Romeo and Juliet because they do come from two different families. Although their families do agree to allow them to get married. Ali is Muslim and his family is from Azerbaijan. They do have ties to Persia, and we will see them go to Persia in the book. Nino's family is Georgian. They are Christian and they have ties to Nicholas II. He actually gives them royal titles, so she becomes Princess Nino in the book. The title or the cover that you're seeing right here, this is from the movie. There was a movie that came out in 2016. I thought it was going to be something that needed subtitles, but it's in English, and actually Mandy Patinkin's in it. I just watched it last night. It's on Amazon Prime if you want to check it out. And it is pretty close to the book. There are some changes in it. In the story, Ali and Nino, they've loved each other for years. Ali really wants to marry Nino. He asks his father for permission. His father says, absolutely, sounds great. There is some complication, though, with Nino's family. They are of different religions, which is not that big a deal in this book, except for when they do end up going to Persia. Nino's father is more concerned with the fact that Nino is so young. In the movie, they make a lot of references to Ali being a Muslim and possibly having more than one wife. That is not as much of an issue in the book, I felt like, as it came up into the movie. There is, though, a huge inciting event that happens because Ali and Nino have a friend. His name is Melek, and he is Armenian. He is kind of an outsider because he is Armenian. And so Ali and Nino take him in, and he gets to know her parents. Ali has a really important meeting he has to go to, so he can't take Nino to the opera, and Melek ends up taking her instead. And then he kidnaps her. Yeah. It's kind of weird the way that it's in the book. It's explained a lot better in the movie, but Ali finds out about it. He jumps on a horse and he goes after them and he ends up killing Melek. And that causes Melek's family to put kind of a price on his head. They have a blood feud. And so Ali has to leave, and this separates our two lovers. They will eventually come together. Yes, they do get married. Nino really wants to go to Paris, but then the war breaks out, and so they're unable to leave. We see Ali take up a leadership role. At first, he was not going to fight in the war for the Russians against the Turks, and he ends up defending Baku twice. Was not a huge fan of this book, I have to say. I found the information or the quest about who the author was more interesting than the book itself. This book came out in 1937. It was found as a manuscript, and then it comes out a little bit later because someone finds a secondhand book. Um, there is no Kurban Said. This is the thing that I found most interesting. And I feel like they did a really good job in the Wikipedia, and I will connect that on the bottom. But it does also mention it at the back of this edition of the book, where it talks about there are two possible people who this pseudonym could be, and they could have potentially been working together. The person that most people think is Gerben is a man named Lev Nussenbaum. He wrote under the name Asad Bey when he converted to Islam. So he was Jewish. He was actually born in Baku, which is the capital of Azerbaijan. Then he moved to Germany and ends up moving to Italy, and that's where he passes away. His writing is very similar to the writing in this book. He writes a lot about geopolitical things, and so I feel like that was a good portion of this book where it's talking about World War One, and it's talking about occupation and love of country, as well as East versus West. East versus West comes up over and over and over again in this book. There is another person attached, and she is a baroness, Baroness Ein Princess. And potentially she could have been tied and wrote more of like the love story between the two characters, so they could have been working together. But it's really interesting. So I felt like the same with Madeline from the Austrian video, that the author's story to me was more interested than the story that he wrote. And in the back there are two actual editions where they talk about Lev and the Baroness, and I feel like they've made a good case. But again, the Wikipedia does a great job of explaining why each person could be Goodman said. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Next month, we're traveling to the Bahamas. If you're interested in what's coming up next, please visit us on Goodreads and Instagram. See you then.